Well, it is the middle of March here, and we are gearing up to get potentially a foot of snow here in Minnesota. we had our fall spring that happens to all of us every year. We start getting out the pots and everything. We're ready for winter to be done, but we're getting more weather. It's staying really cold, and so I thought it'd be a great time to talk to you about winter hardy chicken breeds because you can see, well, there's the ducks, not the chickens. There we go. As you can see, especially here in Minnesota, if you are going to have chickens, they have to be very winter hardy. So here are some of my favorite breeds for if you live in cold climates and want to have chickens that are going to tough it out just like you will. Oof, okay, much better in here, not nearly as cold. Way too cold to film this outside with the chickens today. They're fine. I do not have, downy feathers, layers of feathers. So first, let's talk about some things that are characteristics of winter hardy chickens. Because even if I don't list it here or it doesn't say that they're winter hardy, it doesn't specify hot or cold, there are certain kind of characteristics you want your chickens to have to make sure they're going to do well in a cold climate. So one of the first things you want to look for is a small comb. This one is a deal breaker for me. I try not to have any chickens that have a large comb. Our roosters sometimes will, can't really be helped, but we get so cold here, and even though the animals stay fine in the coop, their bodies stay fine and everything, it gets cold enough that they will get frostbite. So our roosters that have the big combs like that typically end up with a smooth thing because they get frostbite, and I can't be out there every single day putting things on their comb. So especially the hens, I don't want anybody that has a really big comb at all, or even they get kind of like wattles sometimes. Some breeds have a little bit. I don't want those to be, there at all, preferably. So a pea comb is what it's called, is when it's kind of a really small little comb. And so that's something you want to look for so you don't have to deal with frostbite. Next thing you want to look for is bountiful feathers, basically. So some breeds, you look at them and they're just kind of real sleek profiles. They don't have a lot of fluff to them. Those are going to be good for hot climates, or maybe even kind of, Missouri. I always think of Missouri as sort of like the middle of, in between kind of the climate zones. And so that's going to be fine for there, but you want kind of a fluffier, fully feathered chicken if you're in a cold climate. And that will help keep them insulated, helps keep their buddies insulated as well. So you definitely want to look for that. Another thing that's an option but not necessary is you might want a bird with feathered feet. I don't have strong feelings either way with this. Some breeds have feathers down the legs and on the feet. Mine have done just fine. I'll talk here. We're going to cover breeds in just a sec, and then we're going to talk at the end about some things to kind of optimize your chickens doing well in the winter. And so feathered feet isn't necessary, but it can be a plus. I do also kind of always worry with feathered feet a little bit that they can get kind of muddy or mucky or whatever. You might have more issues with lice and things like that on their legs or other issues. So we typically don't prioritize that, but if you're, somewhere where it's really, really, really cold, it might be something you want to consider. Last thing, and then we'll get into our breeds, is you want chickens that have sort of a meaty build. A lot of the chickens I'm going to tell you about here are considered dual purpose breeds because they are going to have, oh, sorry, my ducks are out the window, possibly eating some of our, pecking on the window and possibly eating some of our very first spring shoots, those little son of a guns. I have to fence that area off. Anyway, sorry for the distraction. A meatier frame bird is going to do well, right? They got a little more literal meat on their bones. They're a little going to have, higher fat content. They're going to stay warmer during cold weather. So if you've got kind of a real thin chicken, they're not going to stay as warm. Okay, first on our list we're going to cover is the Americana. This one, I think I've always had Americanas in my flock. They're beautiful birds because they can be anything from sort of a silver to sort of a white. They've got a whole range of colors. One thing consistently is they all lay blue eggs. So that's why they're a really popular chicken breed. They also do well sort of in a homestead foraging situation. So Americanas are a really great option. Another breed that we have an experience here on the farm is a Bielefelder. These guys are definitely a dual purpose breed. They're heavier duty. One thing that's nice about them is they are auto-sexing. So if you do want to hatch out your own eggs, you'll be able to tell right away the male chicks from the female chicks. They have a really clear difference. So that's something that's kind of a positive. And these guys are going to lay a brown egg. If you're looking for a chicken who's going to lay eggs well into winter, then you might want to consider getting a Brahma chicken. These are ones that are going to have those extra kind of feathered legs and a little bit of feathering on their feet as well. They are known because they do lay longer into the winter. They're definitely a bigger breed and they lay brown eggs. Next up are Buff Orpingtons. I have a whole blog post about Buff Orpingtons I'll link to below. I consider them really the golden retriever of chicken breeds. They are super docile and friendly, and they're really big, puffy, and a really pretty sort of color like a golden retriever, like a really pretty golden yellow color. And so these are a favorite of my girls because they can spot them really clearly that those are kind of their chickens, even without handling them as much as we wanted to as chicks. They come right up when it's time for food or treats or anything. And they very consistently lay a nice kind of just a kind of a can be a light tan to a light brown egg. One chicken that's considered a heritage breed and is also considered as doing well in both cooler and warm climates, so perfect for kind of that, mid-range there too, as the Delaware. Delawares are a cross between a Barred Rock and a New Hampshire. And these ones are going to lay a brown egg for you, really good, again, if you're looking for chickens that are going to forage around and help lower that feed bill in the summer. Another breed, we have had this one here on the farm, is a Dominique. It is one of the oldest American breeds. It looks a lot like a Barred Rock. I honestly can't tell. And also like, is it the French Black Copper Marans, I want to say? I cannot tell it from, from those ones. I bet if I really took my time, I could tell which ones are the Dominiques, but I can't. But they lay just kind of a standard brown egg. Again, they are an older heritage breed, so they do really, really well in an outdoor free range environment. Faverolles are another option that you can have on your farm. I have a blog post about these guys too. We haven't had them before because they are such a docile type breed that they really don't do well in a homestead sort of environment. They really don't have that drive. But if you were looking for more of a backyard chicken breed, they might be a good option. They have sort of like a feathered muff sort of a thing going on here, sort of like a beard situation too. And so they're a really good option for a contained flock situation, and they lay a brown egg. Another breed that's going to be great for extending laying further into winter and also being dual purpose is a Jersey Giant. We haven't gotten these guys before because they are really big birds. And even though they're known for being sort of a gentle giant, the feed bill is going to be higher. And for me, it just hasn't been worth the cost. Our chickens typically lay pretty well through the winter, most of the winter anyway. This winter, we got almost all the way through. There was a time where we're getting maybe one egg a day, but thankfully our ducks had laid a ton of eggs. And so I had a backup of duck eggs that we used for a while. And so it worked out just fine. But anyway, Jersey Giants are a good option if you're looking for a bird to continue that laying into the depths of winter. And you also want to be able to, when they are done laying, cook them up as a stew hen. If you're looking to kind of continue that beautiful sort of eggscape, which I'm always striving to have a really pretty egg collection, you can look at the Marans. I pronounce it Marans. People pronounce it Maran. I don't know. Now there are the Cuckoo Marans, which we have. They're kind of the Barred Rock looking ones, and also French Black Copper Marans. These are going to be more expensive because they do lay a beautiful dark brown chocolate egg, and they are known as well to be really good foragers. So these are a great option to make those beautiful eggs, in your basket, but again, it's going to cost a little more upfront. Now, if you're looking for a bird who is dual purpose, heritage, and also going to hatch out babies for you, a bird that goes broody a lot, then you want a New Hampshire Red. This is a very classic, again, American heritage breed. They are on the smaller side, but still have a good meaty frame. So they're a really good option in terms of economics. They're not going to eat as much, but they're still going to give you really good eggs. They're good mothers. And then they also can be cooked up later if you want to. Now, this one I actually found while doing my research. I've never seen one before, but they're called Russian Orloffs. These birds have very impressive feathers. They are a little more rare in the United States, so they are probably going to cost you a pretty penny if you want to get them. They also, like the Faverolles, have the extra kind of ruff of feathers around their face, which makes them really cold hardy. I mean, they're from Russia originally, so I should hope so. The only downside to this breed is they are not known to be as a high production layer as some of your other options. We're getting down there. We're going to have two more we're going to talk about. If this has been a helpful video for you, this is just part of a series I have talking about different chicken breeds. I have one coming up on heritage breeds. I have another one on family-friendly breeds, which there's a little bit of crossover as well between all of them. So make sure you check those out if this has been helpful, and also hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. Okay, last two. We also then have the Welsumers. I was going to get some Welsumers this year because they lay a speckled egg. Not all the time. That's the thing. If you look at kind of examples of their eggs that people have posted online, they can be anywhere from a light tan to kind of a darker brown, but very often you get a light tan egg with dark brown speckles, which again, trying to get those really pretty eggs, that's always what I'm searching for. Another benefit to the Welsumers is some people do say that their eggs are a lot more flavorful. Downside to this breed, again, is there's no guarantee that the hens you're going to get will lay the speckled eggs, number one, though that seems to be the case. Number two, they're a little bit on the pricey side. When I was looking at getting some for this year, they were $13 or $14 a chick, which is pretty pricey. Another one, if you're looking for some beautiful birds, are Wyandottes. We have some blue-laced Wyandottes. Again, I typically am looking for birds that are going to do well here and add to kind of my pretty egg collection I'm trying to develop. But Wyandottes, I thought the blue-laced Wyandottes are one of the most beautiful birds I'd ever seen in my life. And so we got some blue-laced Wyandottes, and they do fine. They're really good foragers. They aren't known for being particularly good mothers, so if you don't want them to hatch out eggs, that's actually a plus. I'm constantly pulling hens out of out of the nest boxes because I don't want them. We have enough chickens as it is. I don't want them hatching out eggs in nest boxes. That's always such a disgusting disaster. So they don't do that, but there are a whole bunch of different kind of lacing patterns, which the lacing means, like if this is a chicken wing, it'll be one color in here and then have a different color on the outside of each individual feather. So it makes for a really stunning bird. And they're really good foragers, and they lay just a standard brown egg. Just a couple quick tips. I'm going to do a full-fledged video on this probably next winter, or going into next winter, but just a real quick thing to cover are some key things about keeping your winter chickens, even if they're a breed that does well in winter. If you are doing best practices, then you're going to have healthier, happier chickens. So first of all, do you need to add heat to your chickens? No, you do not. It's better not to add heat to your coop. We get -40 real temperature out there. We do not put heat in our coop. Instead, what we do is we have 2x4s for their roost bar, so that way when they sit, their feathers completely cover their feet, so we don't have to worry about frostbitten feet. They're more comfortable. We try and keep not too many chickens in the coop so that it's crowded, but enough chickens that they are generating some body heat and all get in there next to each other and can help keep each other warm. You want to make sure your coop is draft free. Ventilation is good, but you don't want like a bunch of wind howling through there making them cold. If you have a way to give them access to sunlight, that's really helpful. We put an old it's a metal screen door, so it's got a great big window and the door is black. And even on really cold winter days, if it's sunny, the sun heats that door, and it's a thin metal door. Sun heats that door, and then it comes through that window and makes a nice little warm spot on the floor for the chickens. So if you can have some good windows, and we replace the old, my husband, who will not be named, throughout these super cool old 1930s windows we took off the coop. There's one left, and I'm not going to give up, thankfully, that I hadn't had time to replace yet. But we replaced those windows, even though they looked really beautiful. I wanted to have something on the coop that was functional that we could open. So in the summer, they get that, fresh air that they need to kind of cool things down. And in the winter, they get that nice sunlight coming in. So sunlight into your coop can be super helpful. And of course, you want to have ample access to food and water as they eat. Digestion helps keep them warm a little bit, and having plenty to drink as well keeps them happy and healthier. Dust baths are another thing that are important for chickens to have access to. All these things are really important. If you want to know what my favorite heated chicken water is, I'm going to link that video here because I have like a graveyard of heated chicken waters. I finally found the magic solution. So I'll talk about favorite heated chicken waters. I'll also link to another video in the series I talked to in terms of family-friendly chicken breeds. There's some good crossover there as well. But if you're looking for more of a family-friendly flock, I've got you covered. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you here next week for more from our rough and tumble farmhouse.